Hello again, this is Kirsten here, and the thing I want to talk about today is having weird or obsessive thoughts or behaviors around food and eating. So there are some of those things that you may not even think that are weird or odd, or you don't know why they would even be a problem. But when you start thinking about it, you will find that they definitely are not normal behaviors. So I want to talk about 4 things that I have done in the past and that are not healthy way to think or behave around food. And if you find yourself doing any of those things, I want you to pay really attention to your behaviors and do something about it, because it means that you do not have healthy relationship with food. First thing is comparing your food portions to other women's food portions. So I feel like as women, we are so expected to eat only like a little bit and never have too much, and always have like a green salad and maybe just a little bit of dressing, things like that. And it's just so deeply rooted in us. So we feel that if we eat more than other women, we are somehow worse, or we are doing something wrong. I have an example for you. So last spring I was at a retreat and with about 20 other women, and we ate all our meals together, so breakfasts and lunches and dinners. And then a lot of times women would just sit around the table. There were several small tables, and they would sit there and put just a little bit of food on the plate, and then have a nice conversation and just kind of like nibble here and there, have a little bit of like a couple of bites here and there. And then when everybody's finished, and then there's one person who's like, you know what, I think I'm gonna go get some more food. And then the other ones are like, oh, well, maybe I would go and get a little bit more too. And then they're so apologetic about it. They said like, oh, it was so tasty, so I guess I could have a little bit more today, or I know I shouldn't be having more, but maybe just a little bit. And they're really apologizing for having more food, which is really, really weird. And they felt that if they have more food than another woman has, then there's something wrong about it. When you compare your food portions to other women's food portions, it means that you do not listen to your hunger signals at all. Because if you did, it wouldn't be a problem for you to get up and eat more food. Doesn't matter how much anybody else is eating. You can eat as much as you need to fuel your body and feel really good about yourself. The second unhealthy behavior around foods is that you are eating foods and you feel bad about it because you think that you're not supposed to have them. And at the same time, you have no reason for not eating those foods. For example, you have only heard somewhere that somebody said that dairy is bad. And so you think that, oh, dairy must be bad for me too, I have to avoid it. Although you don't have any like allergies or other reactions to it, you just think that it's a bad thing. Or all the sugar, maybe you think that, oh, I should never be eating a piece of chocolate anymore, or a candy, or anything that has white sugar in it, and you just demonize this food. There's nothing bad in eating a little bit of sugar every now and then. It can be totally healthy, part of a totally healthy diet, so it's nothing to worry about. So we have those lists of food that we think we're not supposed to eat, and if we do, we feel really, really bad. And of course it's different if you have a medical reason for avoiding something, or your doctor has told you that it's not a good idea for you, or of course if you don't like something. These are all fine reasons. But if you're avoiding something just because you're not supposed to, or someone on the internet said that you are not supposed to, or you gain weight, then this is a really unhealthy behavior that is only ruining your relationship with food and is not letting you get really intuitive with your own desires and cravings and hunger signals at all. The third weird food behavior may show up when you are surrounded by other people and you are eating with other people. So kind of similar to the first point, you think that everybody around you is staring at you or judging you and thinking, why are you making certain food choices? Although these are only your problems and nobody else's. Here's an example of what I used to do in the past when I struggled with a lot of binge eating. So I would not eat much in front of others, or I would eat like normal portion sizes. Actually, this portion actually wasn't enough for me, and I felt hungry after eating it. But at the same time, I thought that everybody will judge me if I go and eat more food. And that's why I felt really, really bad eating with other people. And a lot of times when other people left and I was by myself again, I would just go back and eat more and more and more. And instead of just eating a normal portion of food when other people were around, I felt like this is a bad and dirty secret that I have to hide from anyone. Just being hungry was a bad thing, and needing more food was a bad thing in my world. Really eat as much as you need so you don't have to sneak in the kitchen later and eat like really quietly and hope that nobody catches you. This is really unhealthy behavior, and it's only going to make your relationship with food worse, and it's creating a lot of shame around food. One more thing I want to mention. So especially those girls who have hypothalamic amenorrhea, or they are recovering from disordered eating habits and they have to refuel their bodies really a lot, give them a lot of food, they may feel ashamed for eating more than their male partners or spouses or fiancés, husbands, whoever it is, or friends. So they feel bad because, again, as women, we're expected not to eat too much, right? And men, at the same time, they can be proud of eating a lot of food. So now these women who are refeeding their bodies to maybe restore their hormonal system and get their periods back, or just bring their bodies out from starvation, their hunger might be really, really big, and they may need more food than their husband does. I am recovered from hypothalamic amenorrhea, for overtraining, and my weight is restored, but I still sometimes need more food than my husband does. And there's several things. Like, number one, if you haven't been eating enough food for months or even years, and finally you allow yourself to eat a lot of food, then yes, you may need more food than your husband does, and that's totally fine. Secondly, think about your activity levels. For example, compared to my husband, I have a really physical work. I definitely work out more than he does. He has a pretty sedentary lifestyle, and I definitely eat more often than he does, and sometimes I eat bigger portions than he does. I don't make a problem out of it. It just is what it is, because I have already starved myself in the past. It didn't work for me. It doesn't work for anybody in the long run. So I don't feel any shame or guilt for eating more. I always get up much earlier than he does, and if he gets up like at 10 a.m., I have been up for 4 hours already. I will be having my second breakfast by the time he gets up and starts eating his first one. And yes, I've been eating more calories by that time than him, and so what? I just need more calories. He has naturally pretty small appetite. He's not very active person, so it's totally fine, and I'm not making a big deal out of it. In order to really create this healthy relationship with your food and with your body, you need to start respecting your body signals, and not to think about anybody else, only yourself. Not to think about how much your girlfriend eats, or how much your husband eats, or is it appropriate to go and get second plate and eat a little bit more. So you just have to forget about those things, because we all have really, really different energy demands. We have really, really different metabolisms, and it may really well be that you just need a lot of food, and it's absolutely nothing to be ashamed of. So if you find yourself doing any of those things, comparing your food portions to your girlfriends or to your husbands, or think that there are foods that you're not supposed to have, although you don't have a reason to think that way, then try to forget about all the food rules, all the rules that you've heard about food portions, and really get intuitive. Start listening to your body, eat according to what it needs. Okay, that's it for me today. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, or visit my blog urbanjane.co and I will talk to you next time. Thank you so much, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.